Welcome to the show. This is Brave TRAX. Usually on this show I have a guest, then we play some new music for each other and we talk about what we feel about it. But this time it's going to be a little different. It's the end of the year and we're going to look back on the year at Panini. So instead I have these two guys next to me and we're going to talk about the best tracks discovered on Panini during the year. We talked a lot about music discovery on my show, but we actually haven't touched very much upon that Radio Panini is an excellent place to discover new music. And so, Christian and Francesco, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mats, for having us.
So, if you, both of you would like to just quickly tell me what is your roles at Panini?
Yeah, Francesco, jack of all trades. I started Panini a couple of years ago, and yeah, I take care of most of the radio side of things, and I also work here at Jolene as a booker, and so yeah, aligning everything between what happens between Radio Panini and Jolene, and all the back and the front of house, radio-wise, at least.
Yeah, and Christian?
Yeah, I'm Chris. I archive all the shows. So yeah. I do all the descriptions and the writing, and I upload them. And I've been doing that for a year and a half, I think.
Yeah. And so you basically have watched. It's the person on earth that have watched most Panini shows.
I think last time I counted, it was over 600.
And so what does that do to you?
It ruins your brain.
It does.
No, it gives me a good overview of like what is on offer here, and not only. It's kind of within the scene itself. Yeah, it really gives you an eye for people who are maybe lesser known, and the diversity of musical offerings that the city really has.
And now we're gonna benefit from it and from all the shows that you've been watched during the year. And Francesco, you've mostly been present during the shows here, helping facilitate that they're being broadcast the way that this is now. And right now we're live from the Meatpacking district, right in Jolene, the club. And we have talked about that the listeners, if someone is listening right now or watching, that they can participate in the chat. Are you going to be monitoring the chat?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a Discord chat, and also we have a YouTube chat that you can, if you're watching the video on YouTube, you can just write there. Otherwise, we have a Discord chat that you can find on the website right under the... And if you want to send in some last-minute tunes, maybe we can find a way to play it for you. Maybe not. Let's see. Or if you just want to participate in the conversation, have questions.
Yeah. So this is going to be really exciting. We've been looking forward to this. And you're each going to take turns playing tracks. And who's the first one?
I think it's Chris.
Yeah. And we could just talk a little bit while he picks it up.
Where did you get this one from, Chris?
So let me just see. The first is from a show it's called Synapse by SP99, which is a trio of French girls, I believe.
Yeah.
And this show was one of those ones that kind of makes you stop and think a little bit when I'm going through and watching all of these shows every week, and it was just very...
So what made you stop?
The beyond being just experimental versions of dub and kind of industrial minimal, it had this really intriguing fusion of styles, and to have that shared between three people so fluidly.
Yeah.
And the kind of interplay of them, and
so the way that the three of them are feeding of each other and kind of making it, the sum of each other more than...
Yeah, it was just stylistically very locked.
Yeah.
And it was a show that it had such a character within throughout, not only on the individual tracks but throughout the.
And what was the name of that show again? Do you remember?
Synapse.
Synapse.
SP99.
So if people want to search for it, so let's introduce that track and then play it. There it is. What are we listening to?
We are listening to Safe Journey by Sabla.
Fantastic.
And he's a guy from my hometown. He's from Thoden, and I have a few words about him. I also picked this one. Yeah, let's talk about it later.
So I was just told that both of you picked this track. So Francesco, why did you pick this track?
Yeah, because when they played it, it's from Sabla. Stefano Sabla is a guy from not my hometown, but like close to my hometown.
Yeah.
Anyway, the closest city where shit happens
Yes.
in Italy, in Torino. And he's the founder of this super cool label called Gang of Ducks. And it's just like they release a lot of nice stuff, especially Paradisia compilations they do. Super interesting stuff.
Yeah.
So when they played it, I was like, okay, you got my attention. Like it's I was in a certain niche, maybe it's quite well known, but like it is definitely niche music they play in this show. And when you see that coming from, it was unexpected, I think, for both of us. And I was here, and I was like, it was, I think, first show of the day. 3 young girls from France living in Berlin. No expectations, but like, there is so much bad music out there, and like a lot of people focusing on, very hard dance these days, and then they come in and they come with this like incredible selection of subdued music, and I was like,
a
this
lot
is
of space and room in this music, right?
Yeah.
Room to breathe.
Yeah. And very personal, very personal sound, flowy between them. So there was also like clearly like connection in Tan. It was not like one of these forced projects, you know.
I mean, in this mix, I'm pretty sure it was this, and then they threw in a Tribe Called Quest at one point. You know,
but that takes
just it says a lot about
bit of skill, right, to do that.
skill and also just a bit of freedom in expression.
Yeah. Amazing. And are they gonna come back on Panini at some point?
Frankly, I don't think I ever thanked them for this show. I just told them right after. It was in the summer. There was not many people around, and they left right away, actually. But if they are back in Copenhagen, I would love to have them back here for sure. Yeah.
Definitely. So, Francesco, you have the next one lined up?
Not really, but maybe I think we like the way I approached this show was we can also do that. But my idea was like to talk a little bit about starting from the shows and then picking a track that either I personally like from the show, or like we also asked the community, as you said earlier, to submit some favorite shows and just take it that way. So I have another one though. This one is from Tara Clerkin Trio, and it's a Jets tune.
And I have a big sigh from Chris on the back here, so there's some agreement here as well.
Yeah.
So
this was submitted by someone, I think anonymous submitter. It was Lisa right here in the back. Also part of the team, and now also part of the team at Jolene. But yeah, it was played by Moza and DJ Kant in their show. What is the name of the show now? I'll tell you in a second, after the end of the track. Casual Gratitude, exactly.
Casual Gratitude.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful show. Unfortunately, Moza does not live here anymore, so he only visits when he visits.
So how does that show usually fold out?
It's been actually hosted at the end of the day by Moza, which was the first person, and DJ Kanta, Kylo, saying hi. Amazingly skilled. I wouldn't say Kylo is an amazing DJ. Moza doesn't come from a DJ background. He just loves music. And he just makes an incredible show where he plays a lot of different music, a very personal taste, very, very spread out, but also still like there is a very clear red thread. But the show itself, first there is a talk show. They talk a lot, and it's about casual gratitude. So every time he brings up a theme in a very organic way, you know, it's not very well thought in advance. It's just like, today I'm grateful, this week I'm grateful for something. And then it develops organically in conversation with Kylo, and then they play favorite tunes.
So they also actually talk about things that has nothing to do with music.
They do, yeah. They are very, very. I'm gonna play another track of that they played last year, not this year, and I've been talking to Annette Dixon, your previous guest. But more on that later. But let's listen to the first one first.
Let's listen to it and then continue the conversation.
That's by far my favorite show on Panini. Unfortunately, we don't have them as often as they should, but...
Did you load it?
There you go.
my kind of like idea of what I see going on Panini that is really great is how it is that you have a lot of people that are diggers and dig and find really interesting music, new and old, and this is an expression of that. Very much, it's not something that you just fall over in your everyday. You need to look for it and find it, and then you found it on Panini.
Yeah, I mean, having seen so many people DJing here, you kind of learn a lot of different approaches to the craft, essentially. And you know, you can't make value judgments on people's intentions, obviously, but there's definitely something you can hear in people who DJing for them is just an avenue, it's an outlet for musical expression, and that if the closer one is to that, the less conformity there tends to be, and the more kind of emotive it can be, and the more personal it feels. And like some of my favorite shows, like some of the ones I'm going to introduce here, are the ones which felt, and I've described them as such, they kind of feel like an invitation into their sort of their mind, their sonic kind of.
What was the name of the show again, just for the listeners?
It's called Casual Gratitude, and the host is Moza Murad, which was also one of our first volunteers at Panini. And very casual, was like, I would love to try out and have a show. It was doing something with Radio, and maybe also MMH Radio back in the days. And DJ Kant, Kylo, very, very talented DJ. Very eclectic, very peculiar sound that you don't get much in Copenhagen. A lot of Latin infused bass, global bass, that is harder to come by at that level of quality.
This idea that you perform the shows here in Panini, that gives it another dimension to the thing about being DJ, because all of a sudden being a DJ is not just about making a floor, but it's about more than that. It's an expression, and playing this music, all of a sudden you can express so much more, right?
Yeah, I think it made sense today to start from these shows that we both enjoy. Funnily enough, unfortunately, they are still the minority of the shows that we have on Panini. From my side of things, one of the reasons why we moved to Jolene was that we wanted to have a place that was more inviting for these kind of shows. And there is definitely a part of our community that is requesting more of like this. Less DJ sets that like work for the room. You know, we have this duality in the project that is like in real life and online. Yeah. A lot of people that come for in real life, they come because they want to have a pre-party. Yeah. You know, they want to dance, and obviously
there is part of it, right? But it shouldn't be all of it, right?
No, exactly. So I think I'm very happy that we started with, organically starting from this side of Radio Panini, which maybe is a little bit forgotten sometimes, but there is a lot of quality music from a lot of talented artists, you might say, or like radio hosts that are not necessarily DJs or don't have that drive to use this platform, to use their shows as a way of marketing like their own career and their own craft.
So let's dig into that a little bit, because before this show, you made a little questionnaire and sent out, so that all the Panini listeners could send in what their ideas of what was the great shows during the year. And one of them that came back was just bring it back to Bakken, right? So on all the replies. So I think it's really great that you get into why is it that it's not a Bakken anymore.
I mean, you probably have more to say on this, but from my perspective at least, kind of linking it to what we were just saying, like DJing can be a performance. And it can be something that is consumed by people if they need rhythmic motivation or whatever. But radio, I think in principle is a platform for DJs to create a mix, like irrespective of there being a crowd. Most radios don't have a crowd, you know, and the energy and intensity of Radio Panini when it was at Bakken became very hard to ignore when it comes to like negotiating the dynamic between what you want to do on radio, on record, as a craft in an hour or two, and a room that is kind of almost demanding something of you sometimes. And that I found that when I was there, when I would do sets there, it's like, okay, well, either I stick to my guns completely and I serve my own desire to create a mix, you know, or I play to this room, and they can both work, but for different reasons. But I think the less...
So you're kind of stuck in between two things, because you have to satisfy someone on the floor, and if you're going to satisfy them, then you don't think you're going to make your best radio show.
Yeah, I mean, often some of the worst decisions I make DJing is because I'm just responding on an assumption. Yeah. You know, and yeah, I mean, yeah, I think
you almost shouldn't think too much about it, right?
No, I also really respect the DJs who stick to their guns and sort of set the stage for what this is going to be, and really, if that's not for some people, that's fine, you know, but it's ultimately like, yeah, there's a lot of distractions you have to navigate.
Will you find a track in the meantime?
Yeah, I don't have much to add. Chris said it better than I can, very eloquently. What I can say is that, like...
But do you feel the push from people that said, okay,
yes,
we miss it at Bakken, and now you're here and trying to build something else?
I mean, I don't think it's that black and white. I think what we can do here is similar to what we could do at Bakken, and it's not that, like, people don't come anymore because we have, like, changed drastically our approach to it. As a matter of fact, I think we are still far from making what we want to do, which is, like, having more talk shows, more chill stuff earlier on. And then when the people that... since we moved here, but it was already a work in progress, started coming later during the day to Panini. Right now we have no one in the house.
And people are welcome to join. You can just come and see if they want to.
But you can pretend. Yeah. So this offers an opportunity to make more of this and less of club-focused sonics and performative DJ sets. Yeah. The truth is that as much as there is a bunch of people in our community that ask for that, there is an astounding majority that actually wants more party music. So it's a difficult field to navigate. And also the supply of artists that are actually interested in having a proper radio show is... So it feels you need to scout them. You need to go out there and, like, say, like, push them to, you know, literally scout them and say, like, you have a good voice, you have a good knowledge. Why do you limit yourself? Because at the end of the day, what I was telling yesterday to Chris last night, at the end of the day, and to your friend, to Josh, on a platform like ours, you stand out if you do something different, and that could mean talking, that could mean involving the crowd. Like you know, radio can be very experimental format, especially when you have video in the picture. Yeah. So why does everyone want to just... also, how many promotional DJ mixes can you make in a year, you know? So...
I mean, if video is not in the picture, then it would be a different story, I think.
So you think it's harder for people to do something different because there's video?
No. Bah. I think honestly, like, that's also what made Radio Panini what it is. The whole, like, dynamics that happen behind the bar, and in, you know, it is not a traditional radio booth by far, you know. But that also what makes it special. So you need to have that.
I think when there is video involved, and we don't have to drain this point to nothing, but when there is video involved, it can then this platform can then be used as a tool to market yourself, and it does encourage the approach to DJing, which is about kind of the performance of DJing and being visually whatever, like the kind of interesting experimental weird stuff on radio that doesn't have any visual aspect. I mean, that is the kind of natural and traditional pre-internet means of expressing like the more musical approach. But I'll go into the next show.
Yeah, but let's listen to the next track in the show,
so
and then we can continue.
This is from Vic Siv on his catalog show. This show was, I called it the creme de la creme in Millennium Ambient, and the track is Mass Transit Railway by Mono Lake. And this show is just, I mean, really like seminal bits of like Higher Intelligence Agency 2000s atmospheric dub techno affiliated stuff.
Yeah. Shout out to Vic, legend in the background of Radio Panini, been there for since day one. He built part of our website. Huge contributor to simplifying our archiving processes, and just generally a very nice person that has been a massive contribution into our lives in the last couple of years. So.
So, what show was this played on?
This was Catalog, which is Siv's residency.
Say it a little louder now.
Catalog,
Yeah.
which is Civ. It's his resident
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
And did we get into what makes this show great?
Well, yeah, it's kind of as I described before. It was it's almost an homage to the peripheral production of artists like Mono Lake and Higher Intelligence Agency, which are principally known for their rhythmic tracks, like dance tracks. But you know how every producer throws in an ambient tune on an EP. You know? It's but this was like really very deliberate, and the whole show was.
So is there a lot of ambient in that show?
Lots of ambient, yeah, but it's very measured and very temporally, like historically located. Yeah.
I think that talking about like how can you make a show interesting. Vic is not the kind of person that talks a lot. He's not the kind of person that promotes himself a lot. He has an Instagram with like, I don't know, 500 followers or something like that. And he deleted all of his content, and he just he's a coder, he's a developer. Yeah. He developed the whole idea of catalog is cataloging music, cataloging his taste. So he created this script that publishes posts on his Instagram with the track, a snippet when he's playing the track, and the link to Discogs. He likes a lot of like old stuff. So it's just like that's a way of approaching a radio show in a very creative way, for the sake of it, because it does not have any, any second motive, any second like, just like literally cataloging his taste through the waves.
So
but it's
almost like not even for the audience, we just get to be along for the ride.
Yeah. But then again, he's doing a service that most DJs are not doing to the community, which is actually telling the tracks he's playing. Yeah. So if you go on his Instagram account, there is, at this point, I guess, like close to 100 of tracks, beautiful music that you can go and discover for free.
And you guys are also going to deliver this track list for today?
Yes. yeah. For once, I think I can do that.
So we're touching a little bit about what Panini is now and what it should be in the future, and what is the I know we've had chats a few days ago where you touched a lot about what you want Panini to be in the future, where it is that now there's a lot of DJ shows and there's a few talk shows. What do you want more of in the future?
It's all about balance. We're blessed to have a space that we can activate, and that's beautiful. From how I'm made, and I know that more people feel the same way, I don't love to hear banging music at 2 p.m. So you need, or like if in the future we'll manage to get settled even more comfortably here and have longer days, or like more days, maybe on a Wednesday, you want to do something different. Maybe you could do like more focus on some specific genres that are not dance floor. Yeah. So it's about balance. It's not, and again, it's we're a team. I'm the primary booker at this point, but like we have a team of like 4 or 5 people, and it's about the community. So like if people want to play dance floor music because they see Radio Panini as a platform for dance floor music, so be it. I love dance floor music. I'm a DJ myself, and like I love techno, I love house, but I also want to diversify a little bit the offer. So in the future, I think that's one thing. And I think a big next step, if you want to indulge a little bit into like next year plans, I know Lisa's gonna love this. They're in the bar. We wanna start pre-recorded shows from abroad, so to open also to a more international audience and to get talent from abroad on the radio. Yeah. But that's a whole big topic and a huge project. Yeah, well, very big.
Yeah, but very interesting.
Yeah. But I think now it's 2 years in, and I think in the next year I would like to start an MVP, a minimum viable product of this project. Yeah.
But one of the things that really comes to mind for me when I see what is on offer every week and Panini, like the curation is really, I'm always really astounded by the amount of quality people that you're able to bring in every week, and I don't know where you find them, right? Because it's not easy to find, and so the aspect of how it is that you are able to both you and the whole team able to find all of these people that are doing these shows is really amazing.
We've been very lucky.
Yeah.
Like, people chose us from pretty much day one, and that was a self-feeding loop of like, we got a lot of requests. People want to play. Now we have 2 days. It's a lot of shows to fill, but there is a lot of talent in Copenhagen. And one thing we need to be better of is we need to come back more to people, and just we have a bunch of residents that have not been consistently enough represented on the radio.
So what is going on there then? They don't come back, or you?
No, it's just like we need to. I think a goal is to become a little bit more structured, and you have a show that is very frequent because you're very proactive, and you do also something very different that we really appreciate. There's been some artists that we want to have on the radio, and they've been part of our resident pool, and maybe we haven't really been able to have more regularly, simply because of organization and time management. Like, it's a volunteer-based effort primarily.
So idea for the next year is also be more organized.
Yes. Yeah. We're around that time of the year where you make these promises to yourself.
So maybe you could organize the next track here.
All right. Okay, I have a question for you now. Like, where should we go? Because I got quite a lot of.
We can just amp it up.
All right, I'll talk about amp it up a little bit. Yeah, I agree. I think this one is this one goes out to my good friend. I'm gonna pitch it down a bit because it sounds better when it's pitched down, and that's how I discovered it. This one goes to my good friend Lucas, Prince of Wales, also resident on the radio. Legend, yes, from the back. Who introduced us to Blana, Anna, Danish woman who lived, I think, more than 5 years in Australia. She recently moved back, lives in Odense now. She just started a party, which you should follow. And potentially, she invited me to play last week, and I had a party here, so I could not go. But she is really, really, really sick, and she just moved back. She didn't have a record collection. She primarily plays records, or only records, I think, similarly to Lucas. And she came to I think it was her first or second show on Panini this summer in the backyard, in Copenhagen. And she just went to dig during the week, and she bought a bunch. She didn't have turntables at home, so she played a bunch of records that she bought in the record shop. And she made an amazing mix full of like super, super solid tunes. And this one is one of them. It's by DJ Sotofet, who was the favorite artist of Lucas, and one of my favorite artists ever. I have all of his discography, at least digital. Some of it ripped.
Won't tell anyone.
Sorry, Sotofet. I don't play that much records anymore, but anyway, this tune is 12 minutes long, and it's just constantly changing, ever-changing earworm, and it's so good. And when she played it, I was like, huh. And I was like, what is this? And she was like, Sotofet. And I was like, of course, it's Sotofet. So let's listen. I don't know. I would like to listen until the break, so maybe 5 minutes. Maybe we can talk a little bit over it later.
Definitely.
listen to this break. One thing I love about this track is how, like, I think she introduced it around like 126, which is around where we are at now. Is actually 135 BPM, but it sounds sick at all BPMs.
So you pitch it a little bit down?
Yeah, like 6%.
Is that what you do when you play it as well?
Not so much myself. I try to stay like as much as possible, but there is some tunes that sound good because they are simply just so well produced. They don't get distorted like. And this is one of them. Like, depending on how you play it, it gives a different flow. You can use it in different ways. And yeah, so shout out for this one. And I think she bought it at Proton. I was very jealous when she told me. But that's you snooze, you lose. I haven't been able to visit Proton so much, and yeah.
So, is Sotofed gonna play at Jolene at some point?
Yes. I think it doesn't play so much. No? I think he's a bit of a peculiar kind of DJ. He's very much of a studio nerd, and he's been playing for a long time. I think he's kind of getting a little bit older now. Sorry if you're not Sotofed, but we would really like to have him. So I think this is our formal invitation, and we're gonna send it to him. And I know that Lucas would be absolutely ecstatic to play before him. So I also would love to. Yeah, I think next year I think it's that very high in my priority list to get him. Yeah.
So we're reaching the end of the year, and did you have something more to add to this, or before I move on? Okay, the end of the year at Panini. So if you would just put like 3 words on the year at Panini, what would you say then? How has it been?
Managing organized chaos. I don't know. I think my stake in this is just observational on some level. I luckily only really have to listen and describe, and so I can view it in that way, and in that way I think it's been really interesting actually, and I think the shows have been really engaging, and yeah.
So what makes it a specific? What makes Panini special? Like the shows that are here, because putting yourself up in front of a camera and playing music, it's not an original thought, but something is specifically Panini then.
I think the way that this functions as a, you know, it's not a camera and a decks in a small room. It's something that can be experienced by a lot of people in the moment, and it's also something that's very available, and it really is it's a platform in like a literal sense of the word, which people can step onto and ride with. You know, it's not inaccessible, and that has meant that DJs who hitherto were kind of unknown and maybe just kept themselves to themselves, and now have an opportunity to show what they do to a lot of people. And if that's not the point of the radio, I don't really know what is. And
that's an accomplishment.
Yeah, and that's the foundationally, I think, the point, and it has achieved that. The difficulty this year is just navigating, you know, what that really looks like, because there's a degree to which, at least from my view, Panini was victim to its own success, and then had to navigate the intensity of that, and move here and chill out and establish the kind of pattern and the curation and whatever. And from my view, watching these shows and describing them, yeah, I think there's a consistency now.
It sounds like it's almost a really fulfilling task for you to do that.
To write.
Yeah, to watch the shows and write the notes and be the one that experiences everything that is going on at Panini.
Yeah, there's a sense in which I'm quite lucky to do it, because DJing myself, I mean, it's almost like studying in a way, you know, when you're exposed to so many things that you don't listen to regularly, and my job is to understand what is going on, like why are they doing this, and not to just describe the thing, but to put some emotion into it. But yeah, I'm lucky in the sense that it's allowed me to understand what makes my head tick and what makes a good show, and what, you know. Yeah.
Should we ask Francesco as well? Yeah. 3 words?
2 words.
No, 2 words.
It's been a lot. No, it's been, yeah, Chris said some very, very nice words, and I completely agree with that. There is not much to add. We grew up like, you know, when we started, we had like first 6 months is you need to hit hard, and if it works in the first 6 months, then good. Otherwise, it's hard to start a project and make it successful after the warm-up period, you know. And we just like hit the ground running, and it honestly worked so well. And then after 6 months, we're like, okay, now we need to consolidate, and it kept growing, and like more people coming in, and more people writing, and more people like wanting to join, and so it was a big success in the first year. And now we reached in the second year, now we're towards the end of the second year, we reached maturity. We went through adolescence super quick. And now it's about like really consolidating and finding out who we are as a radio, and so what we want to be, and like how we want to nurture our relationships and nurture this project further.
So almost you had to have your stint at Backen in order to be what you are now at Jolene.
I mean, it was a lot about convenience as well. Me working here, like, you know, having a radio in we have a mobile radio, you know, it's not a studio. It's the beauty of it, and a curse as well. You know, when you have a studio, everything is perfectly calibrated and perfectly stable all the time in the same place. Here back then we moved back and forth, and to the point that we use an Inco card, tuned Inco card as a DJ booth. At some point they saw me going around on Saturday, moving from Jolene to Backen or vice versa, I don't remember. And then they wrote the owners of Jolene and were like, hey, by the way, you owe us 12,000 kronas because you stole a card from us. And I was like, oops. Yeah. So, it was a lot of... so now here at Jolene is like a little bit more settled. Ups and downs. Some people don't like the space so much. They like better the raw, rowdy, crazy energy of backend, which has always been like that. Jolene is a little bit more mature, sophisticated, or like,
But it can be rowdy here as well, right?
It can, and it has been. And maybe that's what we are going to talk soon about. Yeah.
So if I just going to run through, because, Panini hasn't through the year, this year, been, doing radio here. You also done festival appearances at Kahuna and O-Days. You've done street party at Distortion. You've done a boat party. And you've done this Panini by Night, which is going on tonight as well.
Correct.
And you've done Sunday things or afterglow sessions. So there's an idea that Panini is just not the radio show. It's a lot of other things as well.
It's definitely is a multimedia and like platform. Like it's a project that is like, in my mind, like, it's a lot of different things. It can have like a little bit of a double-edged sword because it can also like, what is really Radio Panini? But at the same time, me and the people that work with me, like Lisa is part of Afterglow session, we live this stuff, So if we have a platform that can, as the influence to actually attract people towards different projects and from different angles in life, like towards, then why not? So we open up to parties, we open up to more like chill out sessions. Some things work better than others. Some things are harder to organize than others, and maybe we're not going to do so many in the future, or like we're going to do more of.
But it looks like the thing that you're doing both the afterglow sessions and you do party things that reflects what you also want to do with the radio, where you do want, the DJ sets, but you also want the afterthought and, the where you do real radio, where you're playing like the things that you've been getting into, Chris.
This is one thing we said from the beginning. Radio Panini is for everyone. You don't have to be a techno connoisseur or like a raver. You don't have to be a food snob or like, it's for everyone. And we are adamant about that. And we hope that the message is still clear, that maybe some things are not for you, that we do, but they maybe are for someone else. And hopefully you're going to be curious to appreciate the different things we do and, try out things maybe you wouldn't have tried before.
So it's also about the shows, and let's get into the next piece of music.
Yeah, the next track, it was someone on the survey.
It's Barak. So it was Blana that chose it as one of her favorite shows. So the girl they played before, from the sort of that she mentioned us as like this track.
So tell me about the show that this was played on.
Yeah, this was me and Francesco back to back in the backyard at Baggin for 2 hours. And we had not played together in 2 years maybe. And we agreed to do it, and we didn't say anything to each other before. And when I turned up an hour before the show, Francesco turned to me, he was like, "Oh, that's good that you're here." I was like, "Oh, what, you thought I would just not come?" Like that's how little we communicated about it. And when we were doing the show, we just played music, and I think
you just knew what each other was doing, right?
The first word was shared like 30 minutes in, and it was just like, "Oh, this is going pretty well, isn't it?" and this kind of like satisfied like smile, but it really speaks to the fact that if you trust this other person, and if the back-to-back is about the shared channeling of music, the to and fro, the push and pull, then it becomes some of its halves. Like, you don't need to prepare. Actually, the lack of preparation is good, because what comes out of that interplay becomes unique in itself. And like my experience of doing back-to-backs on Panini has really led me down that kind of to that approach, where it's like I only want to back-to-back with someone that I can trust will make me DJ in a way that I couldn't do on my own.
So it's not a fight, right? It's like
it should never be a fight.
Contribution.
It's a communication.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we didn't communicate, like we've played together before, but we just trust each other's taste. You know?
So if you want to,
but our taste changed so much. Yeah, I think this was it was not our track. It was selected by Blana. That was our favorite, one of our favorite tracks from the year, I think. And yeah, it's coincidentally it was from our show. So shout out again to Blana. And then we're not gonna talk about you anymore. Enough fun girly.
So this is lovely, and this is Barack, super late check-in. I'd love super late check-out, but... So you were just saying to me what you really enjoy about this. I'd like you to repeat it here.
What I just said. I think we can all observe that there has been a bit of a resurgence of an appreciation for not just house music, but tech house, minimal, micro, whatever, and I've dubby stuff, whatever. I mean, I've definitely observed in people who, 5 years ago, and I was one of them. They were into very different things to now, and like my relationship to dance music and electronic music has been shaped by the spaces I've been in and the communities I've been in. And I mean, personally, when I didn't have a community and it was kind of a isolated project, my proclivity was towards very experimental, kind of deconstructed, weird stuff, because it's almost like I didn't have to share that with anything, and it wasn't informed by anything but my responses on my own.
So you think this is informed by actually wanting to share it with something else?
This is an appreciation for this is informed by an understanding that like a locked rhythm and a locked kind of groove in a long form simplified kind of pattern.
Yeah. We were talking about before we went on that I was mentioning how it is that doing something like this that does so little for so long time and then still keeps the interest, that's really if you've been making music, you know how difficult that is. And when you start making music, you just want to do so much because that's how you feel that you are showing skill.
Absolutely.
And you forget that showing skill can also be doing just as little as you need to do and not more, right?
I mean, the real skill is in understanding the fundamentals, groove, rhythm, like negative space and things like this. It's like it's the root of dance music is on one level a physical like input and an emotive input, and as I was saying earlier, like if your relationship to music is kind of informed by the internet, but nowadays social media or whatever, you're kind of lacking the physical kind of like input or whatever. I think music belongs in spaces. Music culture and genres, they developed in specific spaces in specific times, and that is why they sound the way they do. And to really understand something like whether it's jungle or even tech house, I think you really have to physically interact with those styles in those spaces, right?
We figured that out during the pandemic because we tried so many things to do, to try and party together when we couldn't be together, and none of it worked, right?
I mean, talking from experience, in the pandemic, I was either allergic to dance music, or when I did engage with dance music, it was so nihilistically experimental that it was almost a rejection of formulaic dance music patterns. But now, as that's ended, and as I've spent more time within this community and stuff, I've kind of had this revelation about what those fundamentals of dance music actually mean, really. Like there is such a rich like trance community here, right? And I had never really, not to go off on a tangent, but
you are.
It's too late. Discovering trance for me was like a revelation because I'd never experienced it in my life, and I had to be there, and I had to be in that kind of moment or whatever to understand it.
Really, right?
Yeah, completely.
I will try to be as quick as possible, but like a little also for you, Mads, because you don't know our relationship. we met, me and Chris. I have a good friend, Crisco, also resident on the show, and resident at Jolene from Progrium, who told me about, there is this guy, Thoden, who lives in Copenhagen. He's a super sick producer. And then Crisco was doing the bookings at Depot Radio. And he booked me, and then he booked him. And I was like, I listened to his music, and I listened to his sets. I was like, in these guys, we were playing the same stuff, and it was during the pandemic, like literally the first year of the pandemic, everybody with their masks on, and it was a space similar to this. You could sit down and come in, but it was during the pandemic. And we were going through the same exact period of like rejection of like conformity, because also that's what we were being exposed to at that time. Everybody was like dumbing it down into like, and maxing it out, like, you know, more complex things. And then, little funny backstory is that I made a mix. I was like, I want to make a mix to impress this guy that was playing after me. And then he came in, and he was like, fuck, that was super sick. And I was like, oh, thank you. I did it for you. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
This was like 4 or 5 years ago. And then, but one thing to add to what you guys were talking about, we were talking about it last night in the metro, going back from Jolene, is that once back in days, I was in the car with my parents, and I was playing one of my mixes or one dance floor electronic music, and they were like, it all sounds the same, the classic, argument from boring boomer parents from the 60s and what I realized back then, what I knew back then, that then I forgot in the process, and I realized recently, and I think we went through the same, is that what makes dance music so special, and still being techno and relevant, and house still being house and relevant after 40 years since they were, because we're talking about that at this point, since their inception, is that it's about what you take out from a track, what makes mainstream pop music so mainstream, is that there is a lot of elements in these tracks, melody-wise, vocal-wise, instrumental-wise as well. And it's often like, think about the Queens. Like it's very maximalist as an approach. Electronic music does the opposite. A good electronic dance floor, electronic track is about simplifying and taking out and making out of repetition and out of like what you call the empty space in a track.
Leaving room for you
to
put something into it yourself.
Exactly.
Right?
There is no sing-along. That's I'm very happy that there has been this change in Copenhagen in particular, because Copenhagen, it was like the fast techno city, as a resident advisor called it, like in 2018. And it was like similar to Paris, and Paris went for that road and went into like what became Possession, and like really maxed out hard, fully of vocals.
So
Copenhagen went back.
Where do you see Copenhagen going now then?
Well, I think, to your point, I think, and we will get through some more of these tracks, but just to finalize this point, the diversity and richness of a scene in a given country is often reflective of the cultural exposure and history and of that place geographically. Like coming from England to Copenhagen was a very different thing, because they are extremely different countries in relation to how their exposure to different cultures interjecting and shaping the developments in sound. Copenhagen is a very, very small country and has, relative to Paris or Germany or England, much less historical exposure to outside cultures. And so what it did do organically, there is organic cultures of like trance music, and there is a bass music sound system culture here as well. But everything else now, the scene is growing and blossoming in a way thanks to platforms like this, I think, and thanks to, maybe it's the internet, maybe it's whatever. I think the dynamics, it's too complicated to hypothesize, but it's healthy.
So you sound hopeful.
I'm very hopeful. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
I'll go into this next track because this is one of my favorite shows. Potentially my favorite show, which is by Chris Manasseh. I mean, it's funny when I went to do the description. When I went to do the description for this show, I was listening to it, and for the first time, I was stumped. I didn't know what to write at all, and it really, really annoyed me. So I shut my laptop down, and I was just like, oh my God. And then I went and watched it.
So why were you stumped?
Because it was so personal. It was so purely. When I say invitation, like this really was an invitation into a selector's kind of mind, and I almost felt I couldn't do it justice, essentially. It was just so stylized, and...
Did you almost feel that you were intruding as well?
It's not that I was intruding, I was just very impressed, essentially.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's maybe lesser known, but he's just phenomenal. And this is kind of like a EBM-y, cool tune.
Yeah.
He was mixing this with like minimal kind of tech housey stuff. Yeah,
Okay, let's listen to it and then get back to into it.
Shout out to Chris Manasseh.
So I feel like there's actually a lot of music coming out lately where this sound is coming back. Reminds me of Boy Harsher, for instance.
Yeah, electronic body music.
Yeah. What we're listening to again, just to remind the listeners?
Higher by Rec and Kuto Boy.
Yeah. And this was on what show?
Chris Manasseh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that show coming back soon?
Well, I don't know. He does it periodically. Every single one is a standout.
Yeah.
He's a selector. I mean, in a very pure sense of the word.
And so when you listen to the show, you get this kind of music. What other kind of music would
No, you get his interpretation of music.
Yeah.
Which is, he's touching on, the logics of kind of early tech house, minimal, maybe slightly Italo-y, EBM-y, whatever, but it's the in-between kind of bits. They're really like deep cuts. Like he's one of those shows where you can't ID any of it as hard as you try, but you really, really want to,
But does he do playlists or and sometimes the YouTube does the playlist for you?
Yeah, even YouTube can't do it.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like,
That must take a lot of time for him to put those shows together then.
I don't know that it. I don't know, but my assumption would be that it doesn't take any time at all.
Yeah.
I think it's just pure. I may be assuming, but I don't think he plans them at all. I think he's just playing tunes.
That's a really brilliant recommendation there.
Yeah, really, honestly. And I'm going to do another one, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So we
So
can
let's jump to the next show.
Yeah, next show is a good friend, Hugo. Hugo Spa. He used to DJ under DJ Seaview, and this was a new alias he debuted, which is very much like, he calls it Steakhouse. It's like micro house, minimal tech house stuff. But he was a trance kind of techno DJ before, and he's kind of interpreting this style in quite a like unique way. Yeah. And this show was just like, God, it's just like grungy, scattered, slightly hedonistic micro house, like
Hedonistic micro house. This is like two words that I didn't think I would hear together, right? Because they're so opposite.
Yeah. Just one thing that since we want to keep it also a little bit community driven, must shout out that Hugo and Matriarch have been delivering shows on Radio Panini now for 2 years. Matriarch is another good friend of the house. Also played in several times at Panini and Jolene recently. And they have been consistently among the most listened to shows. One of them has over 3,000 listens on SoundCloud, which is one of our records this year. So
why do you think people
well-deserved,
really
good
gravitate towards these shows? What
they are just fucking sick DJs. In Copenhagen, they are doing it in a way that like a lot of other people want to do, but struggling to imitate, because it's Hugo in particular, like, is like, because we talked about it. I also told him many times before, like, he's just a talented person. You know, one of these, like, whatever he does it right. And music is one of those talents he has, and it's just so personal. He manages to find. I no doubt it takes a lot of work, but I also think there's a talent aspect to it, talent element to it that some people have.
Also, when you have the passion, it's not really a lot of work, even though it's a lot of time, right?
It's with these guys, they have a community around them, which is organic and like ground up, and so they follow each other and respect each other, and so they have a reputation and a trust and respect, and just a love for it, a very pure love for music, and that translates in these selections. Yeah, I was just gonna say with Hugo, I think there is something in the way that someone who has kind of grown up or established themselves in a kind of trance environment with a trance kind of sensibility, then interpreting a genre like a slower tech house, micro, whatever, which kind of influences what they choose and how they select. And it's not just, I have another show I want to talk about which has a similar kind of logic, but it's like hearing how, I mean, coming from the UK, hearing how Danish guys interpret tech house with this murky kind of low rumbling rolling edges is unique actually in a style that can often be formulaic.
Yeah, and I met Hugo. We played once in Proton when we had a Spazio Aperto, my radio show with Lucas. I invited him to play back to back with me. It was a horrible show. I was so naive to actually play with him at that point. But he was coming from he also has an electro background, and this tune, for example, it has this snare, this percussive elements to it that like are somewhat, you could say, drawn from electro. So you could hear like how like he developed his sound organically, and he still speaks. This is him today, but what is today and what he plays today is based on like years of like involvement in different sounds and different communities. Yeah.
So I previously had any girl on this show, Esther, and I asked her what Copenhagen did to her music taste, and she said
Techno.
trance.
Trance, yeah.
And now you bring it in, right? And so even though that whole fast techno trance thing isn't so big anymore, it feels like that's something that's permeating all of the genres in Copenhagen. So even though you're not going to a trance party, it's like that's something that's very Copenhagen.
There's one thing to say fast. I think fast. I personally think fast is a lazy descriptor because I think Copenhagen trance, forest, it's a very subdued and kind of murky and non-abrasive rolling style of trance, right? Which obviously has its roots in like Goa, Psy, whatever. I mean, I don't know that much about that kind of stuff, but the Copenhagen style, as far as I understand it, is rooted in that.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's not excessive or whatever, and the logic of that and like engaging with that, these long physical entrancing rhythms, you know, with the mental lines in these tracks kind of weaving in and out on this body of like low end movement. It's a way of engaging with music which, say, if you're into bass music where the low end shifts and encourages like different physical movements, it's a very different physical experience of listening to music where you're actually physically locked. And if you look at, you know, a trance crowd, they are in a trance physically, and that is a big contrast to like if you go to a, you know, bass music or whatever crowd is much more jazzed, right? And taking that kind of approach to listening to music and then using that to interpret different styles creates something.
Yeah, I want to just touch upon Francesco. We had a street party outside here during the year. Is that something that is going to happen again?
Yeah, I was just talking with the owners last week, and seems like the community is like a little bit. It's going to be a little bit more forgiving next year about like rethink their approach to ask for permissions for these kind of things. Because last year we did it illegally, as in like we applied for the commune, but they did not reply to us. Whatever. It's a long talk. We did it anyway because. I mean, it's our own space out here. Yeah. Like we did what we had to do. If then they didn't reply, then
how did it go?
It went well. Just saying that, yeah, we're gonna do more next year probably. Seems like there is gonna be a little bit more of like a structure in it. So I hope that next summer we're gonna do more things outside because that's a huge request from our community. They really love when we do stuff outside. Yeah. It's like just a constant leitmotif of.
Now you don't have the backyard anymore. So
no, but we have a pretty big parking lot in front of us we can use if with the block party. That was definitely one of the highlights last year.
And then you were also on a boat.
And we were on a boat, yes, and that we do it every year.
Yeah.
And this year it was such a massive improvement. We did it on like a smaller boat, but we did 3 trips.
Yeah.
So we had like you could buy a ticket for just one, so it was not like a 9-hour commitment on a big boat and like more complicated and more expensive also to manage. And it went super fucking well.
And was that a great thing to do it like that with three
Yes.
rides instead of?
Yes, yeah. It was like also the guys from the guys, the skippers and the guys that own the boat, like they were super helpful.
Yeah.
And it was a lot easier than last year to organize, and which meant that I could also enjoy my day a little bit more. So that's maybe why I think it was so good. But
So you're gonna figure out how to stream live from the boat
we
next time?
we streamed live last year.
Okay.
This year we decided to just do it, record it, and do it afterwards. You can do it. It's just streaming in the middle of the ocean is not easy because
Yeah.
But and I just wanted to mention this actually because clearly that was one of the shows that
highlights,
the highlights, and also the people that replied to our survey. There was 2 people that said, like Daniel Wang, the closing set at the block party was the highlight of their year, and I can't but agree. That was by far the most interesting and different and party set show we had ever. This guy was just like, I highly encourage to go see what was going on, because it was just playing a tune, only records, actually brought records, funny guy, brought record sleeves, and then you had digitalized because he was traveling from Berlin, putting it up to show what it was, and then he was going to dance with the crowd in front. So behind the camera there was nothing, there was the guys from Momo doing pizza, and he was just like, and then he took the microphone and people were singing in the microphone, like kind of karaoke vibe, and it was just like, the intensity and the energy of this show was like Italo disco show, primarily funky Italo disco.
And this is you. People can go out and stream it, right?
Yeah,
No? Yeah.
and he was just like, by no means you could describe that as a traditional radio show,
No.
but it was just a wonderful evening, and there was so many people that really, there is something special sometimes happening at Panini, and it's very hard to put into words, but like. Back was happening more than it was happening now. For some reason, I think maybe also the space behind the bar was a little bit more inviting, or like there was something in the dynamic of how the people moved in the room, which created often like a dance floor behind the DJ.
Yeah. But you often don't really notice it when it is. So you sit at home and you stream what's going on Panini. That you see someone playing and you actually don't know that often. There's actually a lot of people in front that's dancing here. Yeah. Right. And that's part of the experience.
So be ready in case you never played and never been and you want to play a late show. Then, that's what's up. Yeah. But I don't really have a tune from what Daniel played that day, but I have one from. Sorry. All right. I have one from. Tanya Just and Abstraction, who did the second of the both parties, and it was nothing, and it was just like this tune in particular. It was like a very nice moment. It's by Bushwaka, and. The boat was just going around. We were on the island where they do Kune, and it was like kind of sunsetty vibe. And this was like a really Balearic, like good for a boat party kind of tune.
So what is it? What makes a good boat party tune?
I think honestly, like a good tech house set, but like a little bit like warm, summery, like Balearic Ibiza style. That always works.
If it sounds like if you close your eyes and there's like a kind of a warm glow and ocean breeze, sand on your feet, that's a Balearic-y kind of tune.
And this one, I don't know, it gives me a little bit of like, I can still feel, it reminds me of the movement. It was a small boat, so like there was not many ways, but you could like, it was a bit wobbly, And this one's like, ooh, yeah.
Yeah, so I really have like an old love for Bushwhacker, and I can hear especially the Juno pads he's bringing on here. That's bringing me all the 808 state vibes and everything. That is that is definitely where my love for dance music came. So I'm enjoying this a lot.
I actually have a little, I forgot about it, but I have a little announcement about this. So Abstraction was playing with Tanya Just. Little spoiler, I don't think there's many people listening on right now, but Tanya might be playing tonight at the Panini by night, club night we have here at Jolene. Maybe not. Just saying that.
So let the rumor flow.
Yeah. But Abstraction is the founder of Sound Radio in Stockholm, and I'm going to also break some other news that they are going to come to Copenhagen on the 31st of January next year, and it's going to be our first official radio exchange next year. So we're going to come 4 people, and also have some locals from Copenhagen, and we're going to do a full day.
So talk a little bit about this idea with Panini by Night that you've started, not you, but Panini has started. What is the idea behind that? Are you going to do radio all through the night, or
no? Not for now, at least. Just because we want to have it a little bit more intimate and like less intimidating for DJs. You know, at night here it can get pretty rowdy. Having all the equipment around the bar, it might be. So we just moved to the DJ booth. The idea is to just have a party, and we are blessed to have a lot of super talented DJs in our community that want to play at Jolene and want to play at Panini. So we go back to the origins and we make it all about the music. There is no lineup announcement, so I just cheated a bit here, but it's a secret lineup selected from our own residents and friends of the house. And if you trust us and that we have a good taste, then you should come out and enjoy the night.
It also shows that you sometimes got to be on the live stream and not watch it later. Right?
By the way, we recorded and we posted afterwards only on SoundCloud, so there is no video, but the recordings from the club nights are there.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah, it's the kind of you're curating really, and you're trusting these very specific DJs to like make people want to stay, whether they know them or not. And the fact that it's recorded is nice, because a mixed series of that quality live is a showcase of something kind of very different.
Who knows?
Yeah, but
Chris might be playing tonight. After all, it's this last weekend in Copenhagen.
Why?
He's moving to Thailand.
Is he moving to Thailand?
So today he has a bunch of. He's playing 6.5 hours, 2 hours now, 2 hours on Panini later, and then maybe tonight, maybe not.
Yeah, so should we jump into some more music here? Yeah.
Okay, so next one is from a back-to-back by Pylin and Filthy. This is just solid, stylized dub techno, kind of tech housey, rolling stuff. Yeah, very good.
So this is we going into techno territory. I love this a lot. What were we listening to again? That's you?
Yeah, it's Pylon and Filthy, and the track is Helios. It's called Sunkiss.
Yeah. So, we're reaching the end of the show. I just want to say, from my point of view, we're getting into starting doing shows here, and I think, you know, from the thing about, you know, recording DJ sets, that's not something unique in itself. Panini has brought something really unique for also someone like me that's not going out at night so much, then the ability to come down here and being part of the community, watch people do shows and do things that are sometimes dance music, sometimes other, is something that I think is really unique, and I really thank you to you guys and everyone else as part of this for doing Panini and doing something that's really doing something great for Copenhagen, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I really, you know, thank you for 2025, and we look forward to 26 and another load of really great shows.
Thank you so much, and you brought in a very, very, very interesting show that we really, really needed it, and yeah, thank you, because you've been extremely professional in the way you handle this show, and all the guests say the same thing, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And also I want to say thanks to Chris that is moving at least for a while away from Copenhagen, but he's going to be still working behind the scenes in this current role, and maybe also in the future in like some other roles and some other
Will you
in some other
stream
ways.
from a beach in Thailand for us?
Please, let's make that happen. But yeah, thanks so much for all the artwork, because he really puts a lot of work for not that much money. He's one of our few people that are actually making some money out of the job he does, but it's still not close to enough from what actually it means to us. Without him, we could not do it this way. Yeah.
And so do we look forward to more boat parties, more distortion, more...
Absolutely, yeah. Next year, we actually have nothing planned festival-wise next year, so we have a call in January about it, but we're gonna pretty much what we did until now. We want to, that's our kind of fundamentals that we want to keep going. Next year, we're looking forward to have 2 or 3, ideally, radio exchanges, so swapping with some crews, offering a club night, so have some budget to have them here as well, bring them here, maybe do the opposite in another city with some residents, some air swaps, so do it the same but digitally. Have pre-recorded shows, so open up to like what I think the idea is to call them to go, like you know, the food. So like the to go is only like available on the website, only audio.
Are you also gonna do more porchetta?
Porchetta, yes. If you say it right, yes.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm learning to
I
be
actually
Italian.
I have the hat from Radio Porchetta. We did some merch, but yeah.
Another thing you told me is you also want more talk, more experimentation, and more interactivity.
Yes. Yeah. So this we could call it like we say like this is a call for anyone listening out there from this planet or some other planet. If you have an idea that you want to try out that involves a little bit more experimentation in terms of radio show, which might be talking, involving the crowd physically, involving the crowd online. Also maybe potentially like some basic live shows that are somewhat feasible to implement in our modest studio setup.
And if you have a good idea but you're not completely sure, it's also a
Let's
room
talk.
to try it out and see what happens, right?
And there is, you're not gonna burn your career opportunities by doing a show on Panini, but maybe the opposite.
Exactly. So let's bring this to a close, and with the last track.
All right. I'm just gonna, before I play the last one, we didn't have so many people answering the survey, maybe like 15 or something, but we didn't manage still to go through all of them. We also talked a little bit about our personal ones, etc. So also in our community picks, there was Cristina Evangelista from September, Soyun, which was a very, very fun Korean, I believe, artist that played in Bakken in March or April. La Dolce Vita with Boogie Rookie and Paul Older, also our residents here. Beautiful Italo, disco, funky, housey, Balearic show that I highly recommend checking out if you're in that things. It was Chiquita from our birthday with a lot of cheesy pop Latin edits. That was a fucking party. It was amazing. Niklas Monson back in September. Ploy and Filthy, which we just listened earlier. Buja and Jerry Stevenson, also parts of the team. Barbara Richuk was also a big part of the team and one of my most trusted vice when I'm not here. She handles the radio like a pro, like a champion. And she's also been behind the Kahuna organization. Daniel Wang. And then honorable mentions goes to Martinu from Sweden for the most listened show on SoundCloud of the year. And he's going to be here back in February, I believe, playing at Jolene and also Panini. Pedar, also very high listens. Always whenever she comes here, there's always a party and the shows are super good and there's a lot of people listening to them, so must mention. And also to our friend Ida Hai, was been one of the ones that I asked, like, hey, why don't you come more often and talk a bit on the mic as well? And she was like, yeah, sure, I would like to try. And then she did one show and she was just like so good at it, you know, like just this very nice, cute voice,
just have
and
to
just
break
like
the ice, and then
yeah.
you actually can do it.
So I'm looking forward for the next shows from her. Yeah, so if you have a chance, listen to her last show, Ida Ai. And yeah, the last track is from Joshua Idehen. I'm not entirely sure where he's from. I think from the UK, judging from the accent. He's a poet, so he does spoken words. And this track, we discovered it, me and Dixon, just to sum it up, because we talked about it last week after your show. We were talking about favorite shows, and he was like, oh, that track from Joshua Idehen called Learn to Swim Part 2. That Moza and DJ Kant played last year on a show on Panini, and I think it's the perfect closing track. I would play this every time I play in a club, just because of the message this guy, like, you can you listen to it, at least it aligns with my values. He's a guy who's got his shit figured out, and I think in a world full of like hate and a lot of problems, this is like really, this is the side of the world I want to stand by, and it's the side of this guy here. And so thank you, Moza, for playing this track and bringing it to us. And yeah, thank you for a good show.
Thank you for coming.
Stay cool. Learn to swim. I only started learning last year, and now I'm 42. And if you already know how to swim, good for you. This is for all the people behind you. Stay cool. Learn to swim. Nah, mate, you're not too heavy. Your bones are not too dense. Pennywise was right. In the end, everyone floats. Stay cool. Learn to swim. Your skin will thank you. Your mind will thank you. And if there's blood in the water, sharks will thank you. Don't swim in the River Thames, nobody asks you to do that. Some things will always be true. The sun always sets in the west. Right now will always be as good as it gets. Romeo and Juliet is tragic. Time is wasted on worry. And everyone is made of pure, unadulterated magic. Except for Boris Johnson. Trans men are men, trans women are women. Some things by now should be a given. It looks worse when it's online. Facebook is not researched no matter the hours you spent on it. There are no solutions at the bottom of a doom scroll. And you are never at your best when you are looking at someone else's highlight reel. Time heals all wounds and makes new ones, but a hot shower will cure 99% of bad vibes, trust me. You should be nice to yourself. You should be nice to people, except for Nazis. No one should ever be nice to Nazis. There are so many ways to be yourself. Just don't get lost in the options. All the paper straws in the world won't save a single polar bear, but making Amazon pay their proper taxes could. And all your idols will let you down, except for Keanu Reeves, because Keanu Reeves is perfect. You don't have to like Pink Floyd. You don't have to like Prince. None of it is by force. Every elder is a village, but some villages are full of racists and aren't worth the visit. Protect your peace, cherish your joints, eat your fruits and vegetables and mind your business. Don't be afraid to dress like an idiot at least once in your life. Embrace your cringe. Embrace your cringe. New York is nice, but you should try being in the city. If they won't let you start a union, join a mafia. The means you cannot seize, you should steal. If you love doing a thing, and you're not hurting anyone or yourself, do the thing. Don't let anyone stop you doing the thing. If you love shoplifting from department stores, do the thing. Department stores aren't people. Sometimes the answer is to sleep on it. Sometimes you need to face it head on. Sometimes it's scary in your head, and when you stop running, you realize the monster was a shadow all along. Your heart will be broken, and you will break hearts. And when the dust settles in your spirit, do not forget to forgive yourself. Call all the friends you've fallen out with. Tell them you miss them. Dying right is overrated, but that does not mean you should down a bottle of Mellow and text your former lover. Nothing good will come from that. Recognize the difference between alone and lonely. More often than not, you won't resolve all loose ends. Your life isn't that kind of movie. It's more of a rambling soap opera that will eventually run out of budget. And I hope you get old. I hope when you get old, compassion is cool again. And if you're lucky, one day you'll wake up and you'll be out to the Zeitgeist eye. And you won't recognize the music. You'd rather go to bed at 10. Your pleasures will be gentler, your movements slower, your goalpost shifted, your former burden slightly lifted. And that's okay, it happens to most of us. Maybe by then you'd have stayed cool. Maybe you could do something else with your life, like learn to swim.
So this has been a year of Brave Tracks on Radio Panini. I've had about 6 guests on, and they all played music for me, and I played music for them, and I've collected some of the best music from the year of shows, and I'm gonna DJ those for you right now. This first track is called Hand Heal. So throughout the year, I've had a number of guests on the show. I want to thank all of them. I had Smokey, I had Any Girl, I had Cutie, I had A. Dixon, and I had Hakeem, and then I had Controls, who played this track for me. This track called Mountain Flyers. Uni.